The size 26 white dress gleamed under the church lights. Grace had never felt so beautiful in her life. 200 people filled the pews, all looking at her with smiles. Finally, after so many years of feeling invisible, she was the center of attention for the right reason. Ethan looked handsome at the altar, his smile perfect, his hair styled with gel. The same smile that had won her over 4 years ago, when he joined the company where she worked as an administrative assistant. Do you take Ethan Cole to be your husband, to love him in joy and in sorrow, in sickness and in health, until death do you part? I do. The words came firmly from Grace's mouth. Tears of happiness streamed down her face. 28 years waiting for this moment. Ethan Cole, do you take Grace? His mother's phone rang loudly from the front row. Sharon Cole answered without even caring about the ceremony. Hi, honey. Oh, you won't believe it. He actually went through with it and married that fat girl. Grace's blood ran cold. Sharon Cole kept talking, not realizing she was being overheard by the entire church. Now we'll see if my son can last a whole year married to her to win the $10,000 from the bet. The world stopped. The dress that was once beautiful now weighed a ton. 200 people started whispering. Ethan turned white as a sheet. Mom, hang up the phone now. But it was too late. Grace heard every word. A bet, $10,000. 1 year. Ethan, is this true? Grace, just listen. My mom's confused. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Answer the question, Ethan. Is it true? His silence was all the answer she needed. The 200 guests were now on their feet, trying to understand what was happening. I can't believe it. I can't believe you did this to me. Grace, you're being dramatic. Let's finish the ceremony, and then we can talk at home. Dramatic? Dramatic! Her voice echoed through the entire church. The priest didn't know where to look. You made a bet about me, about how long you could stand to be married to me. You're crazy, Grace, crazy and paranoid as always. Sharon Cole stepped forward, flushed with anger. Honey, you're making a huge scene over nothing. Ethan truly loves you. Then explain this story about a bet, Sharon. What bet? You're making things up in your sick head. I heard you on the phone. You heard wrong. My son would never do something like that. Ethan's family started to side with him. Grace's parents tried to calm the situation, but they were clearly embarrassed. Ethan, look at me and tell me it's not true. He looked away. That was all she needed to see. Get out of here, Grace. You're making a huge scene. Ethan's brother Ryan advanced toward her. Don't touch me. Then leave on your own. Nobody wants you here anyway. The tears were now of pure humiliation. Grace looked out at the 200 people who had been smiling at her before. Now their faces showed pity, contempt, or amusement at the situation. Fine, I'm leaving. But one day, you'll all know who Ethan really is. For God's sake, Grace, cut the drama. Ethan spoke for the first time since it all began, but his voice was cold, distant. Drama? You want to see drama? Grace tore the veil from her head and threw it on the floor. Then marry yourself. I'm sure you'll love keeping the $10,000 all to yourself. Grace! But she was already running down the church aisle, her white dress dragging on the floor, while people photographed and filmed everything with their cell phones. The apartment was empty, completely empty. Grace Miller stood at the door, still in her wedding dress, looking at the place that was supposed to be the start of her new life. The boxes with the wedding gifts were gone. The furniture they had bought together gone. Even the couch she'd paid for in 12 installments on her credit card. Ethan. No one answered. She walked in slowly, the heels of her wedding shoes echoing through the empty apartment. In the kitchen, only the built-in stove remained. In the living room, marks on the floor showed where each piece of furniture had been. In the bedroom, not even the mattress was left. Grace sat on the cold floor and took off her shoes. Her feet were swollen and sore. The dress, which had cost $1,500, was dirty and torn at the hem. Her phone buzzed, a message in the group chat with Ethan's friends. She hadn't been removed yet. "Guys, Ethan said the wedding didn't happen. Who loses the bet?" "Damn, bad timing. I bet on 6 months. I put my money on a year. Tough luck." At least he didn't lose money marrying the fatty. True, now he can find someone decent. Grace Miller's hands trembled. It was real. The bet was real. They were talking about her like she was an object. She scrolled up in the group chat, looking for older messages. She found what she was looking for. Ethan Cole created the poll. How long will the marriage last? Option 1, 6 months, Ryan Cole. Option 2, 1 year, Tyler. Option 3, 1.5 years, Brandon. Option 4, 2 years, Kevin. Option 5, 18 months, Ethan Cole. Total prize, 10,000. Rule, whoever gets closest to the actual date takes it all. Side note, the fatty can't even dream it's a bet. The message was dated 2 months before the proposal. Grace read and reread it. Every word was a stab. They had a nickname for her, the fatty, and Ethan had bet he could last a year and a half married to her. She called the bank, her hands still shaking. "Hello, I'd like to check the balance on my joint account." "1 moment, please. I'm sorry to inform you, Miss Miller, but the account was closed yesterday. The entire balance was transferred to Mr. Ethan Cole's individual account. How much was in the account?" $8,000, ma'am." Her phone slipped from her hand. $8,000. 4 years of savings. 4 years working as an administrative assistant, saving every penny for the wedding and their dream apartment. Ethan took everything. She texted him, "Ethan, where's our stuff? Where's our money?" The reply came 5 minutes later. "We don't have anything together anymore, Grace. You ruined everything today. Don't contact me again. You made a bet about me. You're crazy. I didn't make any bet. Stop making things up. I saw the messages in your friends' group chat." "What messages? You're seeing things. Ethan, I really loved you. Why did you do this to me?" He didn't reply again. He blocked her on everything. Grace Miller sat on the floor of the empty apartment and cried harder than she ever had in her life. They weren't tears of sadness. They were tears of pure humiliation. 4 years in a relationship, 2 years living together, 6 months engaged. All of it a lie. She was just a bet. The fatty who would win $10,000 for a group of men who got a kick out of the idea of someone pretending to love a 265-pound woman. And the worst part, Ethan bet he could put up with her for a year and a half, not even 2 years. To him, she wasn't even worth 2 years of pretending. Grace tucked the betting slip into her pocket. Sooner or later, everyone would know the truth. Grace's phone wouldn't stop buzzing. Messages were pouring in every second. She was lying on the bed in the tiny room at her mother's house, still in her wedding dress, when she saw the first Instagram notification. "You've been tagged in a video." Then came another, and another, and another. With trembling hands, she opened the app. The first video had 200,000 views. It was her screaming at the altar, ripping off her veil and running out of the church. The title, "Psycho Bride Makes Up Story About a Bet and Ruins Her Own Wedding." OMG, look at this ridiculous scene. The girl went crazy at her own wedding and made up some crazy story about the groom making a bet on her. Poor guy, he must be so embarrassed. 5,000 comments. Grace started to read a few. So embarrassing. She needs help. She should be ashamed of herself. The guy dodged a bullet. Each comment was worse than the last. Grace closed that video and opened another one. This one had 500,000 views. It was Ethan posting on his stories. "Guys, what happened at the church today was really sad. Grace unfortunately has some issues that I've been trying to help her overcome. She made up this completely crazy story about a bet that never existed. I truly loved her, but I can't be with someone who makes up fantasies in her head and accuses me of horrible things. I'm asking everyone to please respect this difficult time in my life. 800,000 views, 20,000 comments supporting Ethan. Stay strong, man. You did the right thing. A woman like that is dangerous. Good thing you found out before you signed the papers. Grace opened her profile. 20,000 direct messages. Most were insults she couldn't even read all the way through. Her mother's phone rang downstairs. "Grace, come here, please!" She went downstairs, still in her dress. Her mother was in the living room with a worried look on her face. "Honey," Mrs. Davis called. She saw the videos online. Mrs. Davis was the owner of the company where Grace Miller had worked for 6 years. What did she say? She said she can't keep you at the company after what happened today. What do you mean, Mom? The clients are calling, honey. Everyone saw the videos. She said the company's image has been compromised. But I didn't do anything wrong. Ethan was the one who made a bet about me. I know, honey, I know, but people don't know that. They just saw you screaming in the church. Her world was collapsing again. First the wedding, then the money, now her job. How much time do I have? She doesn't want you to go in anymore. She's going to mail your termination papers. 6 years of work. Gone in a day. Grace Miller went up to her room and started watching the videos again. Now there were 10 different videos, all with hundreds of thousands of views. She'd become a meme, the psycho bride who made up a story about a bet. The phone rang. It was an unknown number. "Hello? Are you the crazy bride? Who is this?" "It doesn't matter. I just wanted to say you're a disgrace, a liar who destroyed a good man's life. I didn't lie about anything. Of course you did. No one would make a bet on you. No one would put up with you even for free." The call dropped. The phone rang again. It was another number with more insults. Grace unplugged the landline and turned off her cell phone, but the notifications wouldn't stop coming in whenever she turned it on to check. She threw herself onto the bed. The wedding dress was wrinkled and dirty, $1,500 thrown in the trash, just like the last 4 years of her life. Outside, she could hear the neighbors talking. "Did you see the video of Grace?" "Yeah, I did. So cringe, right? I always thought she was a little weird. The guy was smart. Imagine marrying that." Even her neighbors had turned against her. In one day, Grace had lost everything: her fiancé, her home, her money, her job, and her dignity. And the worst part, everyone thought she was crazy. No one believed her about the bet. Ethan had managed to completely flip the story in his favor. A week later, Grace was having breakfast when her mother yelled from the living room, "Honey, come see this." On her mother's phone, an Instagram video was playing. It was Ethan, smiling, with his arm around a thin, blonde woman. "Hey everyone, I want to introduce you to someone very special who has come into my life. This is Chloe, an incredible woman who has been helping me get through the tough times I've been through recently." The woman next to him waved at the camera. Grace recognized her immediately. It was Chloe Bennett, the nutritionist who worked at her company. They would say hi in the hallway, but they were never close. "Hi everyone, I'm Chloe, and I'm so happy to be with Ethan. We've connected in a very special way, and we decided to share our journey with you. As you all know, I went through a very difficult situation last week. But sometimes, when one door closes, another one opens, and Chloe is that door that has opened in my life." Grace felt her stomach turn. 1 week. 1 week after everything that happened, Ethan was already with someone else. "We're going to start a project together here on Instagram. Me with my experience in sales, and Chloe with her knowledge of nutrition and healthy living." The video already had 50,000 likes in 2 hours. "Mom, let me see the comments." "What a beautiful couple. You guys look so good together." "Ethan, you deserve to be happy after everything you've been through. Now you've found a real woman." Grace spent the day stalking both of their profiles. Every hour they posted something new: a picture at breakfast, a picture working out together at the gym, a picture having lunch at an expensive restaurant. In 1 week, they gained 100,000 followers. In 2 weeks, they had over 300,000. Grace saw when they posted the first photo in the apartment that was supposed to be hers and Ethan's. She recognized every corner, every piece of furniture, the furniture she helped pick out that she paid for half of. "Our new home," Chloe wrote. "Ethan is the most wonderful man I've ever met. I can't wait to build our life together here." 20,000 likes in an hour. In the 3rd week, the first brands started to show up. Workout clothing brands sending them outfits, supplements sponsoring their workouts, restaurants inviting them to dinner in exchange for posts. "Hey everyone, we're so happy to announce our first official partnership." Ethan appeared, holding tubs of whey protein. "The brand FitLife believed in our project and is now part of our journey," Chloe added. "And what an incredible coincidence. They're going to launch a special line with our names on it. $2,000 per post. Grace knew because she worked with that at her company. For someone who didn't even have $200 in her account, seeing that was pure torture. At the end of the first month, they posted a photo from a trip to Miami. "First month together, and we're already making dreams come true, thanks to all our followers who make this possible. More amazing news coming soon. 500,000 followers, contracts with 3 different brands, a dream apartment, weekend getaways. In 1 month, Ethan had achieved everything they had planned for 2 years of marriage, except it was with someone else." Grace closed her phone and looked in her bedroom mirror. Messy hair, huge dark circles under her eyes, old pajamas. She had gained another 10 pounds since the wedding day. Now she weighed 275 pounds. Meanwhile, Ethan was living like a king with the perfect woman. Thin, blonde, successful, everything Grace would never be. And the worst part, everyone loved them. The comments were nothing but praise. No one questioned how Ethan had gotten over a 4-year relationship in a week. No one thought it was weird that he was with his ex-fiancee's co-worker. To the world, Ethan was the man who had escaped the psycho ex and found true love. To Grace, it was more proof that she had never meant anything to him. 2 months after the wedding that never happened, Grace weighed 275 pounds and hadn't left the house in 3 weeks. Her mother came into the room with a breakfast tray and found her daughter still in her pajamas, watching videos of Ethan and Chloe on her phone. "Honey, you need to stop this. It's not good for you." "Mom, just look. They bought a beach house." "A house, Mom. And look at the comments. You guys deserve all the best, the country's most beautiful couple." "Grace, get out of bed. It's already 2 in the afternoon. What's the point? I don't have a job. I don't have money. I have nothing. At least here no one calls me names." Her mother sat on the bed and took her daughter's hand. "Honey, we need to talk. Aunt Rose called yesterday." "What does she want?" "The house is in her name, remember? And she said we have to move out." Grace put down her phone and looked at her mother. "What do you mean, move out?" "She's going to sell the house. Her son is in debt, and she needs the money. We have 15 days to find another place." "Mom, with what money? You earn minimum wage as a housekeeper, and I've been unemployed for 2 months. "I know, honey, I know. But we'll figure something out." Grace got up from the bed and went to the mirror. The woman she saw reflected didn't even look like herself. Oily hair, dull skin, a body bloated from eating so much junk food. "I've become a monster, Mom." "Don't talk like that. It's true. Look at me. Ethan was right to run away. Who would want to be with this?" "Grace, let it go, Mom. It's the truth. I'm fat, unemployed, homeless, and everyone thinks I'm crazy. Who would want a woman like that?" Her mother hugged her, and they cried together. That afternoon, Grace had to leave the house for the first time in weeks. They needed to go to the grocery store because there was nothing left to eat. On the way, she put on a baseball cap and sunglasses, even though the day was overcast. She didn't want to be recognized, but it was no use. At the grocery store, while grabbing a pack of instant ramen, she heard loud laughter coming from the next aisle over. "Wow, babe, what a coincidence." It was Chloe's voice. Grace hid behind the shelf and peeked out. Chloe was in the supplement aisle with Ethan. He was carrying a basket full of expensive imported products. "Babe, let's get that Belgian chocolate whey protein you saw on that influencer's story." "Of course, princess. Get as many as you want." They looked beautiful. Chloe in a pink workout set, her hair in a perfect ponytail. Ethan in a t-shirt from their sponsor brand, his defined muscles showing. Grace looked at her own basket. Instant noodles, hot dogs, soda and ice cream. Food for poor people, for someone who had given up on life. "Ethan, babe, did you see we hit 800,000 followers?" "I did. And look at all the offers that came in today. We're not going to be able to handle them all." "A good problem to have, right?" They laughed and kissed right there in the middle of the supermarket. Grace tried to leave discreetly, but she bumped into a stack of cans. They came crashing down. "Whoa! You okay over there?" Ethan looked in her direction. For a second, Grace thought he was going to recognize her. But he just looked at her with that disgusted expression people get when they see someone really overweight. "I'm fine, thanks." She ran off, leaving her groceries behind. "Ethan? Did you see that woman? So sad, right? You could tell she was just buying junk." "Yeah, Chloe. Some people just don't love themselves. There's nothing you can do. That's why I admire you so much. You take care of yourself. You value yourself. It's because I learned that you have to love yourself first before you can love someone else." "Exactly, babe. Imagine me with someone who lets themselves go like that. It would be my downfall." Grace heard everything from the supermarket entrance. They were talking about her. Even without recognizing her, Ethan was humiliating her again. She ran back home and locked herself in her room. She couldn't stop crying. That night, she checked their social media. They had posted stories from the supermarket. "Shopping day for our fitness routine. It's so important to choose the right foods to put in your body. Ethan always teaches me that we are a reflection of our choices. That's why we always choose the best." 800,000 people saw that. 800,000 people who adored them and who would be disgusted by her. Grace Miller looked at the pile of resumes she had sent out. 40 companies, 0 replies. No one wanted to hire the psycho bride. In 2 weeks, she and her mother would be on the street. No money, no home, no prospects. And Ethan? Ethan was living the dream that should have been theirs, with the money that should have been theirs, in the apartment that should have been theirs, with the woman who worked at the same place she did. For the first time since it all began, Grace felt something other than sadness. She felt a cold determination. A desire to show everyone who Ethan Cole really was. 3 months later, Grace was sweeping the floor of Ironclad Fitness at 5 in the morning. She weighed 275 pounds and carried the crumpled paper with the bet in her pocket, her only proof that she wasn't crazy. "Hi, are you new here?" She looked up and saw a man in his 30s, tall and dark, with a small scar on his eyebrow. He was wearing a black tank top and workout shorts. Even though it was early, he was already sweaty. "Yes, I am. I started yesterday. I'm Grace. Leo, I'm a personal trainer here." He held out his hand. "You okay? You seem a little down." Grace hesitated. Since the wedding fiasco, she'd been avoiding talking about her personal life. "Oh, just tired." "Got it. Look, if you want, after you're done cleaning, I can show you the equipment. The owner lets the employees use the gym for free." "Thanks, but I'm not really a gym person." Leo chuckled. "I wasn't either. Not too long ago, I was just a chubby guy who sold car insurance." Grace looked at him, surprised. It was hard to imagine that muscular man selling anything other than supplements. "Really? Really? Want to see?" He took out his phone and showed her a picture. It was him, but about 90 pounds heavier, in a baggy suit with a sad expression. "Wow, you've changed so much." "I changed because I had to. My life blew up in my face, and I had to either reinvent myself or sink completely." Something in his tone made Grace stop sweeping. "What happened?" Leo leaned against the wall and sighed. "My fiancé ran out on our wedding day, literally just ran, with the best man, in front of everyone." Grace's blood ran cold. "Oh my God!" "I was standing at the altar waiting for her to walk down the aisle when her father came and told me she'd left through the back door of the church with my best friend." "That's horrible." "It was awful. Everyone found out. I became the laughingstock of the small town where I lived. I had to move to Chicago to start over." Grace dropped the broom. I went through something similar." "Really?" "Yeah. My wedding didn't happen either, but for a different reason." Leo looked at her intently. "Do you want to talk about it?" For some reason, Grace felt she could trust him. Maybe because he'd also been through a public humiliation, or maybe because he wasn't looking at her with pity. "My ex-fiancé made a bet with his friends about how long he could stand being married to me. What a scumbag. The worst part is, everyone thought I was making it up, that I was crazy. I became a meme online. Man, that's an awful situation. And now he's famous, rich, with a beautiful woman, and I'm here sweeping floors at 5 in the morning." Leo was silent for a moment. "Look, I know this might sound cheesy, but can I tell you something?" "Go ahead." "You're at rock bottom right now. I know because I've been there, but rock bottom is the best place to start climbing up from. I don't know if I have the strength for that." "You do. You know how I know." "How?" "Because you're here, 5 in the morning, working, fighting. Someone who's really given up doesn't do that." Grace felt her eyes well up. "I just wanted him to pay for what he did to me. He's going to pay, but not in the way you're thinking." "What do you mean?" Leo smiled. "Revenge isn't about destroying their life. It's about building a life so good they regret ever losing you. Did you do that with your ex?" "I tried. She texted me last week asking to get back together." "And did you?" "I didn't even reply. When you grow up, you realize you don't want the person who made you feel small." Grace looked at Leo. There was something in the way he spoke that made her believe that maybe, just maybe, she could climb out of this hole. "What if I want to try? Training, I mean. Then we start today. But I can't afford a personal trainer." "Who said anything about money?" "What do you mean? Are you good with computers, the internet, that kind of stuff?" "I am. I worked as an administrative assistant for 6 years." "Perfect. You help me create content for the gym's Instagram, and I'll help you train. A fair trade." "But you don't know me. What if I'm bad at this?" Leo pulled out his phone and showed her the gym's profile. It only had 2,000 followers and bad, poorly lit photos. "Look at this. It can't possibly get any worse." Grace laughed. Her first genuine laugh in 3 months. "Okay, let's try." "Great. But there's one condition." "What is it?" "You're going to have to trust me, even when you think you can't do it." "Why?" Leo showed her the photo of him when he was overweight again. "Because if this guy," he pointed to himself, "could turn into this, imagine what you can become." For the first time in months, Grace looked at herself in the gym mirror, and instead of a monster, she saw a possibility. 6 months of training later, Grace weighed 220 pounds for the first time in years. 55 pounds down. 55 pounds of determination turned into discipline. "You look incredible!" Leo Vance walked into the women's locker room without realizing it. When he saw Grace Miller in a sports bra and leggings, he blushed. "Oops, sorry, I thought you were done." "Relax, it's okay." But it wasn't okay. Grace noticed the way he looked at her. It wasn't the look of pity from the first few days anymore. It was something else. Did you want to talk to me?" "Oh, right. The gym's profile hit 20,000 followers. 20,000? Really? Really? And look at how many messages we've gotten. He showed her his phone. Dozens of people were asking about workouts, diets, and especially about Grace's transformation. Everyone wants to know your secret. There's no secret, it's just having nothing left to lose. Grace, it's true, Leo. When you're at rock bottom, you either climb or you die. I chose to climb. And your mom, how's she doing? Better, much better. She said she hasn't seen me this well in years. It was true. Ever since Grace started training and working in digital marketing, her mum seemed to have come back to life. They managed to rent a small but decent apartment, and her mom even started smiling again. Look at this. Leo showed her a message on the gym's Instagram. Hi, I'd like to know if you do online coaching. I live in Denver, and I really want to have a transformation like Grace's. I'll pay whatever it takes. People want to pay for online classes. They do. I looked it up. Online personal trainers are charging between $50 and $150 a month. Grace nearly choked. $50 a month. A month. And look how many similar messages have come in. She scrolled through the phone. There were dozens of people from all over the country wanting online classes, nutrition tips, and most of all, wanting to hear her story. Leo, are you serious? Dead serious. You've become an inspiration to a lot of people. Me? You. The woman who lost 55 pounds after being cheated on. Everyone wants that kind of strength. Grace looked in the mirror at the gym. The woman she saw now truly looked like a different person, not just because of her body, but in the way she carried herself, the way she looked at the world. What if we made our own account, separate from the gym? What do you mean? An account where you tell your real story, talk about the betrayal, about how you use the pain to transform yourself. Do you think people will want to hear that? Grace, have you ever stopped to think how many women go through what you went through? How many are cheated on, humiliated, and end up thinking it's their fault? I've never thought about that. Well, think about it now. You can be a voice for the voiceless. But what about Ethan? He'll see it. So what? He'll try to tear me down again. Leo held her shoulders. Grace, look at you. Do you really think the woman standing in front of me is going to let anyone tear her down? She looked in the mirror one more time. The woman there really didn't seem like the type to let anything get her down. All right, let's give it a shot. Great. I even have a name for the profile already. What is it? Grace's Strength, or Grace Reborn, something like that. How about Grace Reborn? Perfect. That night they created the profile. The first post was a photo of Grace at the altar crying, next to a current photo of her smiling at the gym. The caption read, 6 months ago, I weighed 275 lbs and thought my life was over. Today, I weigh 220 lbs, and I know it's just beginning. This is the story of how the worst thing that ever happened to me became the best. In 2 hours, the post had 2,000 likes. In 6 hours, 5,000. In 12 hours, 15,000. By the end of the day, 20,000 people were following Grace Reborn. Leo, look at this. Look how many messages. I saw. It's unbelievable. You inspired me to break up with my cheating boyfriend. I started working out after seeing your video. Thank you for showing me it's possible to start over. See, you're not just another person working out, you're a symbol. A symbol of what? Of the woman who refuses to settle for scraps. Of the woman who turns the tables. Grace watched the messages pour in. Women from all over the country telling stories similar to hers, betrayals, humiliations, giving up, and all of them saying she was inspiring them to start over. Leo? Yeah? Thank you. For what? For showing me I could be more than that woman crying at the altar. I didn't show you anything. I just helped you remember who you've always been underneath all that pain." That night, for the first time in months, Grace checked Ethan and Chloe's profiles. But it wasn't out of sadness or envy. It was to see what they were posting, and to realize that now she felt nothing seeing them together. 8 months into her training, Grace Miller was editing a video when she discovered the truth about Ethan Cole and Chloe Bennett. She now weighed 187 pounds and had 60,000 followers on her personal profile. "Hi, you don't know me, but I need to tell you something about Ethan." Grace looked at the sender's profile. It was a Megan Clark, a woman in her mid-20s who worked as a receptionist. "Who are you?" "I work at his brother Ryan's office. I overheard a conversation I think you need to know about." "What conversation?" "About a new bet they made. This time about Chloe." Grace's heart started to race. "What kind of bet?" $20,000. If Ethan can get Chloe pregnant in 6 months. "How do you know this?" "I heard Ryan on the phone with the other guys from the bet. He said Ethan's been pressuring Chloe every day to get pregnant soon." "Why are you telling me this?" "Because I saw your videos, and because what he did to you was disgusting. I can't let him do it again." Grace took a screenshot of the messages and showed them to Leo. "Look at this." Leo read the messages, his expression hardening. "Do you think it's true?" "I think Ethan is capable of anything. But how are you going to prove it?" "I don't know, but I need to find out." "Grace, be careful. You're doing so well. Don't ruin everything because of him." "I'm not going to ruin anything, but if he's doing to Chloe what he did to me, she has a right to know." Leo looked at her with concern, but he knew that when Grace made up her mind about something, no one could change it. "Okay, but promise you'll be careful." "I promise." That night, Grace created a fake Instagram profile. A beautiful, single 25-year-old blonde. She used the name Jessica Taylor. She started following Ethan and liking all of his photos. Within 3 days, he followed her back. Within a week, he started liking her photos. 2 weeks in, he sent the first message. "Hey, beautiful, how are you?" "Hey, I'm good, and you?" "Doing great. Are you from Chicago?" "I am. And you?" "Me too. What a coincidence. Do you have a boyfriend?" Grace looked at the message in disbelief. The man was with a pregnant woman and trying to hit on other girls. "I don't. And you?" "It's complicated. I'm married, but it's not going so well." "Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, the pregnancy changed a lot of things between us." "Your wife is pregnant?" "She is. But between us, I don't know if I even want to have a kid with her." Grace screenshotted everything and sent it to Leo. "What a scumbag," was his reply. For 2 weeks, Ethan kept messaging Jessica. Each day he got more intimate, more open. "You know what's worse? I was kind of forced to marry her." "What do you mean, forced?" "There was a bet between my friends, $20,000 if I could get her pregnant in 6 months." "Wow, that's insane." "Yeah, and now she's pregnant, but I don't love her. It was just for the money." "And what are you going to do? Stick around until the kid is born, then I'll make up an excuse and leave her." "Wow, poor her." "Ah, she'll be fine. She's an influencer, makes good money, and she'll get child support." Grace Miller looked at her phone screen and felt a mix of disgust and sadness. Ethan hadn't changed at all. He was still the same man who made a bet about her, only now the victim was Chloe, and Chloe was 7 months pregnant. "Jessica, we should meet up sometime. What do you say?" "I'd love to. Where?" "I know a very discreet hotel in Wicker Park." "Perfect." Grace set up the meeting and started planning how she would record everything without him noticing. Because she was no longer the helpless woman who was humiliated at the altar. Now she was the woman with 50,000 followers waiting to see justice served. And Ethan had no idea who was coming for him. 10 months into her training, Grace Miller weighed 165 pounds and had 80,000 followers. She was at the gym when she found out Chloe had managed to get pregnant. Ethan's bet had worked. "Grace, we need to talk." "About what?" "About what you're planning to do to Ethan." "Why are you worried?" Leo sat on the treadmill next to her. "Because I don't want you to become like him." "What do you mean, like him?" "You're planning to humiliate him publicly. Doesn't that make you just like him?" Grace stopped stretching and looked at Leo. "He humiliated 2 women, Leo. He made bets on our bodies, our feelings. And you want me to just let it go?" "I don't want you to let it go. I want you to think carefully about what you want to achieve with this. I want him to pay for what he did. And then what? After he pays, what are you going to do?" Grace was silent. She hadn't thought about the after. In the last few months, they had gotten very close. Leo helped her with her workouts. She helped him with digital marketing. They talked about everything, laughed together, supported each other. But now, looking at him, Grace realized she felt something more. "Grace, can I tell you something?" "Yeah? I think I'm falling for you." Grace almost fell off the treadmill. "What do you mean?" "I've had feelings for you for months, not just as a friend, as a woman." "Leo, let me finish. I'm saying this because I don't want to lose you." "Lose me how?" "To this thirst for revenge. You're so focused on destroying Ethan that you're forgetting to live your own life." Grace looked at Leo. He was right. In the last few months, she'd thought more about how to destroy Ethan than anything else. But he can't get away with it. He won't. But there's a difference between justice and revenge. What's the difference? Justice is about protecting other women. Revenge is just about satisfying your anger. And how do I protect other women without exposing him? Leo thought for a moment. "Tell Chloe. Show her the conversations. Let her decide what to do." "What if she doesn't believe me?" "If she doesn't, at least you tried to do the right thing." Grace stood up and walked to the gym window. Outside, it was a sunny Saturday. Families were strolling in the park. Couples walked hand in hand. "Leo?" "Yeah?" "Were you serious about liking me?" "I was." "Since when?" "Since the day you posted that video talking about forgiveness." "Which video?" "The one where you said that forgiving isn't about accepting what they did to you. It's about not letting it stop you from being happy." Grace remembered the video. She had recorded it on a difficult day when she was struggling with anger. "And what did you think?" "I thought you were the strongest woman I knew. Even though I weighed 275 pounds when we met. Especially because of that. Anyone can be strong when they're on top. You were strong when you were in a hole." Grace Miller went back to Leo Vance and stopped in front of him. "Can I tell you a secret?" "You can. I like you too." "You do?" "I do. But I was scared." "Scared of what?" "That you were with me out of pity, or out of gratitude for what you did for me. And now I know you like me for the woman I've become, not for the one I was." Leo stood up and faced her. "Can I kiss you?" "You can." The kiss was different from anything Grace had ever felt. It wasn't needy like the kisses with Ethan Cole. It was whole. As if she had finally found her place in the world. "So, what are you going to do about Ethan?" "I'm going to talk to Chloe, in person." "And what about our story? Are you going to tell your followers?" "I will, but I'm going to wait until I'm sure it's for real." Leo smiled. "I can give you that certainty right now." "How?" "Will you be my girlfriend?" "Seriously, dead serious. I want to date the bravest woman I know." "Okay then, I accept. But there's one condition." "What is it?" "Promise you won't let the past destroy our future." "I promise, but I have a condition for you too." "What is it?" "Promise you'll help me talk to Chloe the right way." "I promise." That night, they posted their first picture together. It was a selfie of the two of them at the gym, sweaty and smiling, with the caption, "Sometimes God puts people in our lives exactly when we need them. In an hour, the post had 5,000 likes, and hundreds of comments from women saying they also deserved to find someone who would truly love them. Grace looked at the comments and realized her story was no longer just about revenge. It was about rebirth, and about deserving to be loved the right way. By her 12th month of training, Grace was down to 154 pounds and had 100,000 followers. The information about Ethan's new bet had been confirmed. Chloe was 3 months pregnant. Jessica and Ethan had been talking every day for 3 weeks. "Hey, beautiful, how are you? Hey, babe, doing great. And you?" "A little stressed out at home." "Why?" "My wife is being unbearable with this pregnancy. All she does is complain and cry." "Wow, that sounds tough." "Yeah, and I didn't even want to have a kid with her." "Why did you marry her then?" "I told you about the bet, right? $20,000 to get her pregnant." "Yeah, you did. But now that she's pregnant, you don't feel anything?" "Nothing. I just want to get my share of the cash and bounce." "And when's that happening?" "As soon as the kid is born. I've already told my lawyer to prep the divorce papers." "Wow, that's cold." "That's life, babe. Every man for himself." Grace took a screenshot of the conversation and sent it to Leo. "Disgusting," was his reply. But Ethan was getting bolder. The conversations, which used to be just text, now included voice messages. "Hey, Jessica, I decided to send you a voice message because it's easier to talk." Grace put in her earbuds and listened to Ethan's voice, the same voice that had once whispered words of love in her ear. "Man, you have no idea how much I'm dying to meet you. It's been so long since I've been with a real woman. You know, Chloe gained a lot of weight during her pregnancy. She looks awful. And you, from your pictures, you look like you're exactly my type." Grace felt disgusted, but she kept listening. "I'm even thinking about leaving her before the baby is born, you know. I can't stand this fake life anymore. I married her for money, but now that I have followers and contracts, I don't need her anymore." "What about the baby?" "Ah, she can keep the baby. I'll pay child support and that's it. I'm not really a kid person." "You don't even want to meet your child?" "To be honest, not really. A kid really ties you down. I want to have fun, travel, be with beautiful women like you." Grace stopped the audio and felt like she was going to throw up. How could she have ever loved that man? "Leo, I need to set up this meeting with him right away." "Why?" "Because Chloe is 8 months pregnant. If I don't talk to her soon, it'll be too late." "Okay, but you promised you'd do this the right way." "I will. First, I'll meet with him and record him confessing everything in person. Then I'll go find Chloe." "What if he recognizes you?" "He won't. You've seen how much I've changed." It was true. Grace looked nothing like the 275-pound woman who had cried at the altar over a year ago. "Okay, but take this." Leo handed her a small digital recorder. "It's tiny. You can hide it in your bra. It records for up to 6 hours. "Perfect." That night, Jessica texted Ethan. "Hey, babe, how about we meet up tomorrow?" "I'd love to. Where?" "You pick. But it has to be somewhere discreet." "I know a great hotel in Wicker Park, the Onyx Hotel." "Perfect. What time?" "How about 2 in the afternoon?" "It's a date. I can't wait to meet you." "Me too, babe. You won't regret it." Grace looked at the conversation and took a deep breath. "Leo." "Yeah? What if I can't do it? What if I freeze when the time comes?" "You won't freeze." "How do you know?" "Because you're not that woman who let herself be humiliated anymore. You're the woman who helped 100,000 people rebuild their lives. But what if it goes wrong?" Leo held her face in his hands. "Grace, look at me. It's not going to go wrong. You know why? Why? Because this time, you're not alone. This time, you have someone who believes in you. Thank you." "For what?" "For reminding me who I am. And who are you?" "The woman who turned the worst thing that ever happened to her into the best thing that ever happened. Exactly. And tomorrow, you're going to show Ethan just what he lost. That night, Grace could barely sleep. It wasn't fear, it was anticipation. Because after a whole year of preparing, the time had finally come to look Ethan in the eye and show him that he bet on the wrong woman. 16 months after the broken wedding, 1 month after discovering the new bet, Grace Miller arrived at the Onyx Hotel at 2:15 in the afternoon. Her heart was pounding, but she took a deep breath to calm herself. The navy blue dress made her look elegant, and the new haircut had completely changed her face. At 165 pounds, no one would recognize the woman who had cried at the altar. The tiny recorder was hidden in her bra. Leo had tested it 3 times to make sure it worked. She was waiting in the lobby when she saw Ethan walk in. He was still handsome, with defined muscles and expensive clothes. But now, Grace could see beyond his appearance. She saw the coldness in his eyes, the arrogance in his smile. "Jessica? Hi, are you Ethan? That's me. Wow, you're even more beautiful in person." He hugged her, and Grace felt the urge to push him away, but she controlled herself. She had a mission. "Thank you. You're much more handsome than in your pictures, too. I booked a room upstairs. How about we go up and talk somewhere more private?" "Sure." In the elevator, Ethan couldn't stop talking. Grace noticed he was nervous, too. Maybe the famous influencer wasn't as confident as he seemed. "Man, I can't believe we're finally meeting. It's been a while since I've met an interesting woman. What about your wife?" "Ah, forget about her. I told you things aren't working out, right?" "You did, but isn't she pregnant?" "She is, 8 months, but that doesn't change anything between us." Grace's hands trembled a little. His wife was 8 months pregnant, yet he was acting like a single man. The room was simple, but clean. Ethan closed the door and immediately tried to pull Grace closer. "Hold on, let's talk a little first." Sure. Do you want something to drink?" "No, thank you. I'd rather stay sober." They sat on the couch. Ethan was clearly anxious, but Grace needed the confessions first. "So, tell me about your life. It must be interesting being an influencer." "Oh yeah, it's cool. A lot of work, but the money makes it worth it." "And how did you meet your wife?" "Chloe. She worked at some company and I met her by chance." Ethan hesitated, as if deciding how much to reveal. "I thought she'd be a good fit for what I was planning." "Planning?" "Yeah, kind of a thing with my friends." "What kind of thing?" Ethan looked at her, sizing her up. Vanity won out over caution. "A bet." "A bet?" $20,000, if I could get her pregnant in 6 months. "Wow, and you did it?" "I did." She was pregnant in 5 months. Grace felt her stomach turn, but she kept her expression neutral. "And now, are you two going to stay together?" "No way. As soon as the kid is born, I'm going to find a way to end it." "But isn't it your kid?" "Yeah, but man, a kid ties you down. I want to enjoy my life, travel." "And she knows that?" "Of course not. She thinks we're going to be a happy family." "Don't you feel sorry for her?" Ethan shrugged. "Everyone suffers in life. It's just part of it." Grace looked at the man and felt a mix of disgust and pity. How could she have ever thought she loved him? "Have you done this before? Made bets about women?" Ethan paused for a second. He was saying too much, but his ego was bigger than his caution. "Yeah, I made one about my ex-fiancée once." Grace's heart raced. "What do you mean?" "I bet on how long I could stand being married to her." "And how long did you bet?" "1.5 years. But it didn't even come to that. She found out on our wedding day." "Wow, how?" "My mom accidentally let it slip. The woman went crazy, screaming in the church. And what happened to her?" "Nothing much. She became a meme for a few days, but she deserved it." "Why did she deserve it?" "Man, she was so bland. I was doing her a favor by being with her." Grace took a deep breath to keep from exploding. "And where is she now?" "I have no idea. She's probably around here somewhere, feeling sorry for herself." Just then, Ethan stood up and tried to kiss Grace. She dodged him, but her heart was racing. "Wait, I want to know more about you. We can talk later. Right now, I want you." He tried to force a kiss, and Grace pushed him away, harder than she meant to. "Hey, take it easy. Come on, Jessica, this is what we came here for. I came here to talk. If this is all you want, I can leave." Ethan's tone changed instantly. No, I'm sorry. It's just, you make me nervous." "It's okay, but let's take it slow." Grace was breaking out in a cold sweat. Ethan was more aggressive than she had expected. "Tell me something. Don't you feel guilty?" "Guilty about what?" "About what you did to your ex-fiancée." "Guilty? She was the one who was too naive. But how long were you two together? 4 years. But for me it was just convenient. She paid the bills, did the cooking." "You never loved her." "Love her? Hardly." It was everything Grace needed to hear. But her hands were visibly shaking now. "You know what, Ethan?" "What?" "I think your ex-fiancée got lucky." "What do you mean?" "She was lucky to find out who you really are before the wedding." Ethan frowned. "Why are you saying that?" Grace stood up, her heart pounding like a drum. "Because I'm her." "What? Who are you?" "I'm the ex-fiancé you humiliated at the altar." Ethan turned as white as a sheet. "That's not possible." "Oh, it's possible. I'm Grace." "Grace? But you look completely different. 110 pounds lighter and infinitely smarter." Ethan got to his feet, clearly panicking. The charm was completely gone. "What do you want?" "I want you to stop doing this." "Do what?" "Destroying women." "I don't destroy anyone." "No." "What about Chloe?" "Chloe has nothing to do with this. She has everything to do with it. You did the same thing to me." Ethan tried to leave, but Grace blocked the door. She was shaking, but she wasn't going to back down. "Get out of my way. You're going to listen to me first. I don't have to listen to this." "Yes, you do, because everything you said in here was recorded." "Recorded?" "Yeah, right. No one's going to believe you. This time I have proof." Ethan tried to advance on her, but Grace threw open the door and screamed, "Help! He's trying to attack me." A hotel employee came running. "Is everything all right, ma'am?" "Yes, it is. Just a misunderstanding." Ethan was red with rage, but he couldn't do anything with a witness present. "This isn't over, Grace." "Oh, yes, it is. Because this time, I'm the one with the power." Grace ran out and didn't stop until she reached the parking lot. She was trembling from head to toe, but she had done it. She had the confessions she needed. And Ethan had finally discovered that the woman he had humiliated had become his worst nightmare. 2 weeks after the meeting at the hotel, Grace gathered the courage to find Chloe. She had spent days analyzing the recordings, deciding if it was right to involve a pregnant woman in this situation. She got the address through a friend from her old company. Chloe lived in a luxury apartment in River North. It was 10 in the morning when she rang the doorbell. A housekeeper answered. "Good morning. I'd like to speak with Chloe." "May I say who's asking?" "Grace Miller." "It's about something important regarding her husband." The housekeeper went to get Chloe. A few minutes later, she appeared at the door. Her baby bump was already visible, 5 months pregnant. She was wearing a floral dress and looked tired. "Grace, wow, you've changed so much. I almost didn't recognize you." "Hi, Chloe. Can I talk to you?" "Of course. Come in. But what did you want to talk about regarding Ethan?" They sat in the luxurious living room. Chloe was curious, but Grace noticed the exhaustion in her eyes. "Chloe, what I'm about to tell you is going to be hard to hear." "You're scaring me. What happened?" "It's about a bet." Chloe's expression changed instantly. "What bet?" "Ethan made a bet about you, just like he did about me." "What do you mean, like he did to you?" Grace took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking slightly. "My marriage to Ethan didn't end because I made up a story. It ended because he actually made a bet on me. What kind of bet? $10,000 on how long he could stand being married to me. Chloe turned pale and put a hand on her stomach in a protective gesture. No, I don't believe it. It's true. And now he's made another bet. $20,000 if he could get you pregnant within 6 months. That can't be true. Chloe was visibly shaken. Grace realized that, deep down, she already suspected something. Unfortunately, it is. And there's more. Grace took out her phone and showed her some of the conversations Jessica had with Ethan. He's talking to other women and saying he's going to leave you as soon as the baby is born. Chloe read the messages in silence. With every line, she grew paler. I can't believe this. I know it's hard. Are you sure it's really him? Grace showed a photo that Ethan sent in the chat. It's him, and I have audio messages too. When she played one of Ethan's audio messages bad-mouthing the pregnancy, Chloe started to cry softly. My God, what a monster! I'm so sorry, Chloe. I know exactly what it's like to find this out. Chloe wiped her tears and looked at Grace. Why are you telling me this? You could just expose him and leave me out of it. Because no woman deserves to go through what I went through. And you're pregnant. You have the right to know. Thank you. Really. I know it wasn't easy coming here. It really wasn't, but it was the right thing to do. Chloe was silent for a moment, her hand on her belly. You know what the worst part is? What? Deep down, I already suspected. He changed so much after I got pregnant. He became distant, cold. And you didn't say anything? I thought it was all in my head. Pregnancy hormones. It wasn't. It wasn't. They fell silent. Grace could see that Chloe was processing everything. What do you think I should do? That's your decision. But if it were me, I wouldn't let him keep lying. Do you want revenge on him? Grace thought about the question. Months ago, she would have said yes without hesitation. I used to, but now I just want him to stop hurting women. And how do we do that? We. Yeah, you helped me. Now I want to help you. Chloe, you don't have to. Yes, I do. He did this to me too, and he'll do it to others if we don't stop him. Grace felt a huge sense of relief. For the first time, she wasn't alone in this fight. Okay, but we have to be careful. What do you mean? If we just show the chats, he can claim they're fake. We need something more solid. Like what? He said he already has the divorce papers ready. If we can prove that, I can try looking in his office. No, it's too risky. What if he gets suspicious? Then what do we do? Grace thought for a moment. We're going to make him expose himself. How? You're going to pretend you don't know anything, and you'll get him to talk. He'll never confess to me. He will if you know how to provoke him. How so? You're going to say you want to make a special post about the baby's arrival, something big, telling your whole story together. And then? Then he'll try to talk you out of it, and in his desperation, he'll end up saying too much. Chloe looked thoughtful, her hand still on her belly. What if it goes wrong? If it goes wrong, we still have the recordings I made. And what if he suspects I know something? Chloe, you're a better actress than you think. Can you pretend for a few days? I think so. Are you sure? Chloe looked out the window, where she saw other mothers playing with their children on the playground. You know what I want for my son? What? I want him to grow up knowing his mother fought for the truth. So, you've decided? I have. We're going to take him down. 3 weeks later, Grace and Chloe were working together, gathering more evidence. Chloe was now 6 months pregnant, but she was determined to uncover the whole truth about her husband. Grace, I found something important. It was a Thursday afternoon. Ethan had gone out to shoot a commercial. What did you find? I got into his laptop. It wasn't easy. and he almost caught me yesterday." Chloe was clearly nervous. Going through her husband's things went against everything she believed in, but the situation called for drastic measures. "And what did you find out?" "Emails. Several emails about the bets." Chloe showed her the screen. They were sparse conversations between Ethan and his friends, but they were enough to confirm everything. "Look at this. Ethan, Chloe's pregnant. You won the 100 grand. Now I just have to wait for the baby to be born, and then I'll get rid of her." "It's not much, but it's something." "There's more. Strange financial documents." "What kind?" "His contracts are for 60,000 a month, but he only declares 40,000. And the rest? It disappears. There are transfers I can't track." Grace looked over the documents. Ethan was smarter than they thought. He didn't leave any obvious trails. "Chloe, this is dangerous. If he finds out—" "I know, but I have to do this for my son." "I understand, but be careful." "I will." "And you, how are things?" "My Instagram hit 150,000 followers." "Wow, and the contracts?" "They're coming in. Nothing too big yet, but it's enough to live on." "That's great. You deserve it." Just then, they heard the sound of a key in the door. "He's back," Chloe whispered. Grace hid in the guest room while Chloe quickly closed the laptop. "Hey, honey, you're home early." "Hey." The shoot was quicker than expected. Ethan's voice reached where Grace was. She could barely breathe. "How did it go?" "Okay, but I'm tired. I'm gonna go take a shower." Grace Miller waited for Ethan Cole to go to his room and slipped out the back door. Her heart was pounding like a drum. Later, Chloe Bennett called. "I got something else." "What is it?" "A WhatsApp conversation he forgot to delete." "What's it about?" "About you." Grace's blood ran cold. "What did he say?" "That you're getting popular on social media, and that it could be a problem." "Why?" "Because if you become a big influencer, you might have the credibility to tell the story about the bet. And then Ryan Cole said they had to be ready to discredit you." "How?" "I don't know. The conversation got cut off." Grace felt a knot in her stomach. Ethan wasn't just being passive. He was planning something against her. "Chloe, I think we need to speed up our plan." "Why?" "Because if we wait too long, he might act first." "What do you suggest?" "Tomorrow you talk to him about the special post." "Tomorrow? But we're not ready yet." "We are. We have the recordings I made at the hotel. We have the chats you found. It's enough." "And what if it's not?" "It will be, because the truth is always stronger than a lie." "Okay, I'll try." "Chloe?" "Yeah?" "Thank you." "For what?" "For believing in me." "Thank you for opening my eyes." That night, Grace could barely sleep. She knew the next day would be decisive, and that after it, nothing would ever be the same. While Chloe gathered evidence, Grace focused on solidifying her digital presence. In 6 weeks, her followers grew from 100,000 to 120,000. It was consistent growth based on the quality content she was producing. "Leo, look at this." It was a Friday afternoon at Ironclad Fitness. "What is it?" "Adidas sent an offer." "Seriously? For how much?" $4,000 for 3 posts. Leo stopped organizing the equipment. 4,000? Wow, that's a huge step up. And other offers came in too. A supplement brand offering 5,000 and a fitness apparel brand offering 6,000. "Grace, you've become a real influencer." "I have, and without having to lie about anything." It was true. Unlike Ethan, who sold a fake image of happiness, Grace showed her real journey of overcoming adversity. And the comments? How are they? Better every day. She showed some recent messages. "You gave me the courage to leave an abusive relationship. I started working out, inspired by you. Thank you for showing that it's possible to start over. You're really changing lives. That's what matters. The money is just a consequence." At that moment, Chloe called, "Grace, I got it." "What? What did you get?" "I recorded him confessing everything." "What do you mean?" "I talked about doing a special live stream to tell our story. He panicked and ended up saying too much. Tell me everything. I said I wanted to do a special live stream about our relationship from the beginning until the baby arrives." "And him?" "He freaked out. Started saying it wasn't a good idea, that there were issues from the past that shouldn't be brought up." "And you recorded it?" "I recorded everything. He confessed about wanting to leave after the baby was born, about having other plans, about everything." Grace felt a mix of relief and tension. "Chloe, I think it's time." "Time for what?" "To tell everything, to everyone." 8 months after their first meeting at the gym, 20 months since the altar, Grace and Chloe went live simultaneously on their profiles. Chloe was 7 months pregnant, but determined to tell the truth. "Hi everyone, I'm Grace and this is Chloe. Hey everyone, we're here today to tell an important story." Within 3 minutes, 10,000 people were watching, a good number for 2 women telling their truth. "A story about lies, betrayals, and bets," Grace Miller continued. The comments started pouring in. "What's this all about?" "Bets? Where's Ethan? Calm down everyone, we're going to explain everything," Chloe Bennett said, clearly nervous. "First, we want you to know that this isn't easy for either of us," Grace added. "But sometimes the truth needs to be told, even when it hurts." 15,000 people watching now. "Chloe, do you want to start or should I?" "I think you should start. After all, you went through it first." Grace took a deep breath. Her hands were shaking a little. "A year and a half ago, I was going to marry a man I thought I loved. At the altar, I found out he had made a bet about me." And the comments slowed down, as if people were paying attention. "A $10,000 bet on how long he could stand being married to me." "OMG! No way! What a monster!" 25,000 people watching. "Yes, everyone. And for a long time you all thought I was making this story up." "Even I did," Chloe admitted. "When I saw the videos of Grace at the altar, I thought she was sick." "I don't blame you. Everyone thought that. But now I know the truth." "And why do you know the truth, Chloe?" "Because he did the same thing to me." 40,000 people watching. The comments were coming in slower now, but they were more serious. "Ethan made a bet about me too. $20,000 if he could get me pregnant in 6 months." "What do you mean?" "Oh my God, that's horrible. Where is he? He needs to explain himself." "And he succeeded," Chloe replied, touching her 9-month belly. "But I found out he never loved me. Just like he never loved Grace." 50,000 people watching. "We have proof, everyone. Recordings, conversations, evidence." Grace played the first audio clip on the live stream. It was Ethan talking about the bet on Chloe. 60,000 people. "Guys, there's something you need to know," Grace said after the audio. "What?" "Ethan isn't here because he doesn't even know we're doing this. And a little while ago, we found out he's still talking to other women. Women who don't know he's married." 70,000 people watching. "OMG, he's cheating on her. What a scumbag!" Just then, Chloe's phone rang. She looked at the screen and turned pale. "Guys, it's him. Ethan's calling." "Answer it," Grace said. "On speaker." 80,000 people were watching when Chloe answered. "Hey, babe." "Chloe, what are you doing?" Ethan's voice came through loud and clear for everyone watching. "I'm telling the truth, Ethan." "What truth? Have you gone crazy?" "The truth about the bets, about the lies. End this live stream now." "I'm not ending it. I'm coming over there now." "Come on over. Everyone already knows who you really are." Ethan hung up abruptly. 90,000 people watching. "Everyone," said Grace, "you've just heard the reaction of a man who's been exposed. And we want this to serve as an example. How many women go through this in silence? How many accept being treated as the object of a bet? 100,000 people were watching when they started to wrap up. Thank you to everyone who watched our story. And remember, you deserve to be truly loved. Don't accept scraps from anyone. When they ended the live stream, 110,000 people had watched. It wasn't the number they had dreamed of, but it was enough. Within half an hour, videos from the live stream were being shared in every WhatsApp group in the city. Within an hour, they were reaching the national news. Within 2 hours, Ethan had lost 50,000 followers. Justice hadn't been spectacular, but it had been real. 3 days after the revealing livestream, Ethan's world began to systematically fall apart. Grace was at the gym with Leo when her phone rang for the 5th time that morning. "Grace, this is Spotlight Magazine. Can we schedule an interview?" "Of course, but I already said everything on the stream." "Yes, but the story is getting national attention. We want a more in-depth piece." After she hung up, Leo showed her his phone. "Look at this." Ethan had lost 40,000 followers since the stream, and he was posting increasingly desperate stories. "Hey everyone. About what happened. I want to clarify that these are lies made up by my ex-fiancé, who could never get over our breakup. Chloe is going through a delicate time in her pregnancy and was influenced by this person. Soon I'll prove it's all just slander." "Dude, he's panicking," Leo commented. "He really is, and it's about to get worse." The phone rang again. It was Chloe. "Grace, did you see what he posted?" "I did. How are you holding up?" "Hanging in there, but I'm nervous. 2 brands have already cancelled their contracts with him." "Only 2? "For now. But there's an update." "What is it?" "Remember Fernanda, who works at Ryan's office? The one who told you about the bet? That's the one. She called me, said they're going crazy over there. Ryan is trying to find a way to discredit us. But they know it's true. They know, but they're going to try and discredit us anyway." Grace took a deep breath. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but the backlash was more vicious than she'd expected. "Chloe, do you regret this?" "Not one bit. And you?" "Me neither. But we need to prepare for the counterattack." "What do you mean?" "They're going to try to prove we're crazy, liars or whatever." "And then what?" "Then we keep telling the truth." That afternoon, Ethan did an emergency live stream. It was a complete disaster. "Hey everyone, I want to talk about the false accusations being made against me." The comments started pouring in immediately. "Liar! Where's the proof you mentioned? Explain the recordings. Grace and Chloe are 2 women who teamed up to hurt me out of pure jealousy." "It's not jealousy. You're the scammer. Why don't you deny the recordings?" Ethan was sweating and stammering. His usual confidence was gone. The recordings could have been edited. Anyone can do that nowadays. "Then prove they're fake. Get an expert." "My lawyers are already looking into everything." The live stream started with 50,000 people, but ended with only 15,000, and most of them were cursing him out. "Leo, did you see his live stream?" "I did. It was embarrassing." "How many followers did he lose?" 70,000 so far. "And look at your profile." Grace checked her profile. It had jumped from 120,000 to 160,000 followers. And Chloe's? 100,000 new followers. The truth is winning. It is. But slowly. That night, Grace Miller posted a simple video, sitting on her bed. "Hi everyone. A lot of people are asking if I'm okay after everything. I am. For the first time in a long time, I'm at peace. It wasn't easy to expose this, but it was necessary. For my own good, for Chloe Bennett's good, and for all the women who go through this in silence. Thank you for the support. And remember, the truth always comes out, even if it takes a while." Allah. The video got 500,000 views in 12 hours and 10,000 supportive comments. Ethan Cole didn't know it yet, but the war was already lost. 2 weeks later, still in the initial period of the fallout, Ethan tried to save himself with an exclusive interview on a TV show. Grace watched from home, along with Leo Vance. "I'm here today to clear this situation up once and for all," Ethan began, trying to look confident. The host didn't go easy on him. "Ethan, can you explain the recordings where your own voice confesses to the bets? These recordings were clearly doctored. My legal team has already proven it. But do you have an expert report to show for it?" Ethan hesitated. "It's still being finalized." "And what about the WhatsApp conversations Chloe showed? Those can be faked too. Anyone can create fake chats these days. But what if we brought people here who were part of those bets?" Ethan turned pale. "What people?" "Your brother Ryan, for example, who has already confirmed to our production team that the bets were real." "My brother? He's being pressured." "Pressured by whom?" "By Grace. She's orchestrating a campaign to destroy me." The host looked incredulous. "Ethan, do you really believe that one woman alone can orchestrate all of this?" "She's not alone. There are powerful people behind her." "Who?" "I can't reveal that right now, but you'll find out." The interview went from bad to worse. Ethan seemed more and more desperate and out of arguments. Leo, what a train wreck. Totally, he's digging his own grave. That same night, Ryan posted a video on social media. "Everyone, I need to clear something up. The bets my brother made really happened. I was part of it, and I deeply regret it. Grace and Chloe are telling the truth. I apologize to them and to all the women we offended." The video went viral instantly. Within 2 hours, it had 500,000 views, and Ethan lost another 50,000 followers. "Grace, did you see?" Chloe called, ecstatic. "I saw! I can't believe Ryan came forward. He called me before he posted, said he couldn't stand lying anymore. Wow! And there's more. Tyler is going to talk too. Seriously. They're afraid of getting sued along with Ethan." "Sued for what?" "I'm not sure. But Jenna said there's some kind of investigation going on." "What kind of investigation?" "She didn't want to say much, but she said it has to do with money." That night, Grace Miller went live to comment on Ryan's video. "Hey everyone, did you see what happened today?" 200,000 people were watching. Ryan, Ethan's brother, confirmed that the bets were real. This just goes to show that when we have the courage to speak the truth, other people find their courage too. Ryan could have kept lying, but he chose to do the right thing. And that's more important than any revenge. The comments were full of support. "You're right. Thank you for speaking out. You gave a voice to the voiceless." I want to end with a special message. To all the women watching, you deserve to be truly loved. Don't accept being treated like the object of a bet. And if anyone does this to you, speak up. Report them. We're stronger together. When the live stream ended, Grace felt different. It wasn't about her and Ethan anymore. It was about a bigger cause, and that gave so much more meaning to everything that had happened. 2 weeks later, Grace was at the hospital with Chloe when she received a call that would change everything. "Grace, this is the Chronicle calling. Did you hear that Ethan was arrested?" "Arrested? What do you mean?" "For tax evasion. The IRS found irregularities in his tax returns." Grace looked at Chloe, who was holding little Gabriel in her arms. The baby had been born the week before. "When did this happen?" "Last night. We'd like your comment on the case." I need to process this first." After she hung up, Chloe sighed in relief. "Finally. How do you feel?" "Relieved. My son won't have to grow up around that man." "Did you know he was evading taxes?" "I suspected. Remember those strange documents I found? I turned everything over to the IRS 2 weeks ago." "Chloe!" "It was the right thing to do." That afternoon, Leo arrived at the hospital with news. Ladies, have you seen the latest? What else happened? 3 companies cancelled all their contracts with him, and 2 women filed fraud complaints. Fraud. It seems he was running scams on women. He'd pretend to be in love with them, and then steal their money. Grace was in shock. So you're saying that you weren't the first, and you wouldn't have been the last? Oh my God. The police are investigating at least 3 cases from the last 5 years. Ooh, Chloe shook her head, rocking Gabriel. We were so lucky we found out in time. You saved other women, Leo said. If you hadn't spoken up, he would have kept doing it. Grace sat down in the armchair, processing everything. You know what the craziest part is? What? For 4 years I thought that man loved me. But you found out the truth, Chloe said, and that set you free. Yeah. If I had married him... Stop thinking about that. Think about who you've become. Leo came closer. Grace, you have 250,000 followers now. Your story has inspired so many women to leave abusive relationships. Really? Yeah. I've received messages from at least 20 women who ended toxic relationships after watching your live streams. That week, while Chloe was recovering from childbirth, Grace received an unexpected offer. Grace, this is Summit Books. We want to publish your story. My story? Yes, a book about your journey. We believe it could help a lot of women. I've never written a book. That's not a problem. We have a team that can help you. I need to think about it. Of course. But it's a good offer, and a portion of the proceeds can be donated to charities that help victims of domestic violence. Grace liked the idea. It wouldn't just be about her, but about a greater cause. Okay, let's talk. That night, at home with Leo, she told him about the offer. So, are you going to write it? I think so. But on one condition. What is it? I want part of the money to go to charities that help women. Perfect. You're still using your story to help other people. That's what matters. And what about us? When are we going to make it official? Grace smiled. Soon, but I want it to be in a church. The same one where... The very same one. I want to transform the place of my humiliation into the place of my happiness. Leo kissed her. Are you sure? Absolutely. It'll be the perfect ending to this story. Leo took her hands. Then let's plan the most beautiful wedding in the world. It doesn't have to be beautiful. It has to be real. It'll be both. That night, Grace slept peacefully. She knew the worst part of the journey was over. Now it was time to live the best part. 2 months later, 23 months after the wedding that never happened, Grace Miller was at the salon getting ready for a special event. It wasn't her wedding. They had decided to wait a little longer. It was her book launch, Starting Over: How I Turned Humiliation into Strength. Girl, you're glowing, said the manicurist. Thank you, I'm nervous. Nervous? Why? You've spoken to thousands of people. But today is different. Today feels like the end of a chapter. And it was. The book told her whole journey, from discovering the bet to becoming a respected voice in the fight for women's rights. Leo, I'm home. She walked into the apartment they shared. It was simple but cozy, a far cry from the fake luxury she had with Ethan. Wow, you look beautiful. Leo was all dressed up to accompany her to the event. Thank you. You look very handsome yourself. Ready for my future wife's big day. We haven't set an official date yet. To me, you've been my wife for a long time. The phone rang. It was Chloe. Hey, girl, how are you? Nervous. So, are you going to make it? Of course. Gabriel's with my mom. I wouldn't miss it for the world. That's great. How is he? He's great, growing up so fast. And completely different from his father, thank God. That's good. And you? Have you thought about the publisher's offer? I have. I'm going to write one too. Really? What about? About single motherhood. How I discovered I don't need any man to be happy and raise my son. It'll be a hit. I hope so. But first, I'll be rooting for your success. The launch was at a bookstore in downtown Chicago. Grace expected about 100 people, but almost 300 showed up. Oh my God, I can't believe this! The line for autographs went out of the bookstore and wrapped around the block. Women of all ages, some with their husbands, others alone. Grace, you changed my life, said a 50-year-old woman. How so? My husband was cheating on me for years. After I saw your story, I got the courage to confront him. We're separated now, and I've never been happier. That's great. You deserve to be happy. Grace, said a young woman around 25, you taught me that I deserve better. Of course you do. I broke up with my boyfriend after watching your live streams. He was always putting me down. And now I'm single, studying, working, focusing on myself. Perfect. Story after story, Grace realized the real impact her decision had caused. Leo, look at this. She showed him a message she had received. Grace, I'm a psychologist. Ever since your story went public, I've had more women coming in seeking help to leave toxic relationships. Thank you for giving a voice to the victims. Man, you really made a difference. We did, because you helped me get here. During the talk, Grace spoke to a packed audience. A lot of people ask me if I regret exposing Ethan. The answer is no, never. Not because I wanted revenge, but because other women deserve to know they're not alone. Today, he's serving time. He can't deceive anyone anymore. And me? I'm here with all of you, living the best chapter of my life. Not because of the fame, but because I finally know who I am. I'm a woman who refuses to be put down, a woman who fights for her rights, a woman who turned pain into purpose. The audience rose to their feet, applauding. And you can be that woman too. Don't accept being treated as less than you are. You deserve real love, love that respects you, that builds you up. And if you don't find that love, that's okay. It's better to be alone than in bad company. By the end of the event, Grace had sold over 200 books and gained hundreds of new followers. Love, how are you feeling? Leo asked in the car. Fulfilled. What do you mean? I feel like I've turned my pain into something useful. You did. Now I can say it was worth it. Was it? All the suffering, because it brought me here. That night, at home, Grace looked in her bedroom mirror. She saw a completely different woman from the one who cried at the altar 2 years ago. Not just physically, but emotionally. She was a strong, independent woman who knew her worth, a woman who had chosen to love herself first. And that made all the difference in the world. 6 months after the book launch, Grace was on her apartment balcony drinking coffee when Leo approached her with a strange expression. Honey, someone's downstairs asking for you. Who? It's better if you see for yourself. She went down to the lobby and was shocked. It was Ethan, but he looked nothing like the man she knew. He was thin, with messy hair and simple clothes. Hi, Grace. Ethan, what are you doing here? I made parole. I got out yesterday. And what do you want? I want to talk to you. Grace looked at him. She felt pity, but no anger. About what? About what I did. I want to ask for your forgiveness. Ethan, please let me speak. She remained silent. In jail, I had a lot of time to think, to understand the damage I did. And what did you understand? That I threw away the only woman who ever truly loved me. Ethan, you loved me, Grace. You were the only one who loved me for who I was. And you threw it all away for money. Ethan lowered his head. I know, and now I want a chance to start over. Start over how? With you? Grace almost laughed. Are you serious? I am. I know I don't deserve it, but you're right, you don't. Grace, please. Ethan, listen to me carefully. She paused and took a deep breath. 2 years ago, You humiliated me in front of 200 people. I know. You made a bet about me. You stole from me. You treated me like trash. I was an idiot. And now you come here after getting out of jail thinking I'm going to take you back? I've changed, Grace. No, Ethan. You're just desperate. But you know what the difference is between us? What? You're still the same person. You're just sorry because you lost everything. That's not true. Yes, it is. If you were still rich, you wouldn't be here. Ethan fell silent. And me? I've completely transformed. How? I became the woman I was always supposed to be. And what woman is that? A woman who loves herself, who respects herself, who chooses who deserves her love. Grace. A woman who found someone who truly loves me. Just then, Leo came downstairs and stood beside her. This is Leo, my fiancé. Ethan looked at them and saw something he never understood. He saw true love, a real partnership. You're getting married? We are. Next month. Where? In the same church where you humiliated me. Why? Because I want the place of my worst memory to become the place of my best. Ethan stood there for a moment. I hope you'll be happy. I will be, because I've learned to choose who's worth it, and I'm not worth it. Grace looked at him one last time. Ethan, you were never worth it. The problem is it took me too long to realize it. Grace, have a good life, far away from me. She took Leo's hand and they walked away together. Honey, are you okay? I'm great. You weren't shaken up? No. You know why? Why? Because looking at him, I saw exactly where I would be if I had married him. Where? Trapped in a life of lies, married to someone incapable of love. And now I'm going to marry the one who truly loves me. A month later, on a sunny Saturday morning, Grace walked into the same church where she had been humiliated. But this time she was radiant, a simple white dress, her hair down, a genuine smile. The same people were there, but now they looked at her with admiration and affection. Do you, Grace Miller, take Leo Vance to be your husband, to love him in joy and in sorrow, in sickness and in health, until death do you part? I do. And do you, Leo Vance, take Grace Miller to be your wife, to love her in joy and in sorrow, in sickness and in health, until death do you part? I do. I now pronounce you husband and wife. When Leo kissed her, Grace felt that she had closed one chapter and opened another. A chapter where she was the protagonist of her own story. Chloe was in the front row, with Gabriel on her lap, crying tears of joy. Grace, you did it. We did it, all of us. As she left the church, Grace stopped in the very same spot where she had cried 2 years ago. Leo? Yes? Thank you. For what? For showing me that I deserve to be truly loved. You always have. You just needed to believe it. And now we live our story. Better than any fairy tale? Much better. Because it's real. Did you like this story? Do you think Ethan got what he deserved? Do you think Grace did the right thing by choosing forgiveness over revenge? Let me know in the comments. Until the next story.